So my name is Sophia Moore. I'm studying a Bachelor of Science with a double major in psychology, and it is my honours year. And my research area is, it's kind of down the public health realm, so we're looking at obesity specifically. I became interested in psychology around the time that I stopped doing my first degree. So I actually started out doing engineering, worked out that wasn't for me. I was a little bit adrift at the time, but I had a really nice conversation with my mum, who kind of reminded me what I've been interested in for many years, really, and that was in mental health and really understanding people's behaviour and their cognitions and how these two things link. And as well, it was just like a really nice family moment because my mum was a psychologist as well, so a bunch of factors in there. So one of the major driving factors is the fact that you do have to do honours to do postgrad, and I did know that I wanted to do clinical psychology, and so the honours was the route that I needed to go for that. But more than that, I have always wanted to try out research. Research is definitely something that you don't get as much of a taste of as you go through the first 3 years. So I really wanted to have that research component, and yeah, so that was a big reason for me. And yeah, I got to do that. I got to see that I really liked it, and it's changed things for me a bit. So I selected my supervisor after doing specialist research topics. So the way we did it is you got to choose a stream, and I actually followed my friend into a stream, which actually worked out great because I got to come into my lab. I got to come into the care lab, and the way they ran it is that they had a different academic each week talk about their research interests and have us go through research in those areas. And I met my supervisor, and she was researching all the stuff that I was really interested in. So body image, just generally weight and shape concerns, and things to do with eating. And yeah, so I knew from there that I wanted to go with her, and I was lucky enough to have that happen. The biggest challenge, I mean, I did my honours during a lockdown period. So I think the biggest challenge was the fact that I had literally had one day in the lab collecting data in person when they shut the whole thing down and said everyone needed to move online. So I think actually being okay with that, not letting that completely throw me, and just being like, this is what's got to happen right now, and actually wait that time for the study to be moved online, have less time to data collect, and yeah, just have to roll with that and take it as it came. I think that was the toughest thing, that I didn't get to do my research the way I thought I was going to, but yeah. It would be effective time management, and I know that you think after 3 years already that you should already have that down, but it's a completely different story when you're juggling coursework and then juggling a thesis. It's an assignment that never stops for the whole year, so you just have to understand how much time you actually have available for everything, because it's less than you think. So actually, yeah, managing all of that while also finding time to do things for yourself, I think was, the biggest thing I learned is how to divvy up that time and make sure I wasn't missing out on important things. To be honest, I had a really great year. I wouldn't do much differently. I'd maybe put in an extra little bit of push in that initial data collection, so it didn't go as late in the year, and I had more time for my analyses and to work with my results. But realistically, it didn't make too much of a difference. I'd say that small thing, but apart from that, it was a really great year. Yeah, definitely. Like, it's a very busy and at times very stressful year. So what I did like the main thing is that I just made sure I had heaps of time, or as much as I could, to spend with my family and friends. That's so important to, have people around you that understand what you're going through, care about you, but that can also help you switch off. Because like I said, it is something that's really ongoing and something that you can kind of struggle to, distance yourself from for a while. So I think it's really good to have those times and have those people that can help you do that. And also, don't neglect your hobbies. I think that was one of the things that got me through as well, is that, I have an amazing sports team that we have a lot of fun, and it was something that went on the whole way through. So every week, and I think that was a really good time to de-stress and just, decompress from everything that had been going on in the week. So the lead up to my submission was a bit of a last minute push. I was collecting data pretty late in that second semester, so it was a bit of a frantic time in the lead up to submission. Not a huge amount of time to get my discussion done. Also, I was creating a graph on the morning that the thesis was due, which is not ideal, but I still had some time to go over my work and to proofread through everything, which is of course really important. And then submitted it. It's, I mean, a huge sense of relief. You kind of don't know what to do with yourself though, because it's been a whole year, a whole academic year, and then it's just suddenly all done like that. So I just, threw myself into celebrations, went to lunch with two of my friends, and then we met up with the rest of our honours friends at the TAV, and had a big celebration there. It was a really nice night. Yes, I do. So, of course, I put in lots of work the whole way through, but I definitely upped the ante by a major amount for honours. And I think that really is reflected in my uni record. I think that you can really see that extra push that a lot of people put into honours. I think that it was the same for a lot of my friends, that, there was that effort the whole way through. But as soon as you know that this is something that has like a direct lead into something else, it's just that extra thing and that extra bit of care. And I think that's reflected pretty well. The advice I would give them is to really enjoy the year as much as they can, because it can be a really, really enjoyable year if you let it be that way. I know that it can be stressful and really overwhelming at times, but I think one of the most important things is to really grab onto the group, like the year group that you're doing it with. I made some amazing friends throughout, and having those people along that journey with you, it just makes it what it is. It makes it fun, and it just gives you those people to confide in, in those bad moments when you're feeling really stressed, like people who understand you. It really made the year for me. And I'd just say take it all as it comes, because there's going to be things that don't go your way. That's research. Not everything happens on this perfect linear path. So just be open to things and be okay when things don't go perfectly. Yes, I would. Like I said, I had a really amazing honours year. I learned so much along the way, like about how I work, and also about research, which I really valued. And I also got some really awesome experiences along the way. Like I got to present my 3-minute thesis at the school's 3MT competition, which was a really exciting opportunity. I really wouldn't change much. I would happily do the whole year again. So I have a lot of things that I want to do. So I think my ideal job would be, doing half clinical work and then doing half research, having that opportunity to do both. And I think that for the clinical work, I'd really like to work in a setting that, focuses and specialises in eating disorders and all that shape and weight areas that I was talking about before. Or otherwise, I'm really passionate about the provision of mental health services for our regional communities that have had barriers accessing those services before. So if I could work somewhere regional, I think that would be really rewarding and amazing. And then super long term, I think, actually being able to shape and have a say in policy that, affects people living with mental health issues would be a really amazing thing to be a part of, and something where you can make tangible change. My supervisor contacted me about a month after I finished my thesis, and she asked me if I'd like to be involved in publishing our findings as first author, which was a really, really exciting moment. It just kind of really cemented all the hard work that I'd put into the year. So it was a really long process. It got, accepted for publication, I think on the weekend, so under a week ago, and I've been working on it since November last year. So that whole process was a lot of rewriting because a thesis looks very different to a manuscript. So there was about 3 rounds of rewrites where I would have a go at it, and then my supervisor, and then my other 2 supervisors. So the rewrite was pretty extensive, and then when we were done with that, we submitted it for publication, and then as well you can get these things called revise and resubmit. So that's when they like it, but there's some things that you can work on in there. So we did get 2 of those. So that took a bit of time as well, some things to work on in there, just to improve the quality of the manuscript and make sure everything's looking as good as it can. And then we submitted that last one, and then from there the process was really quick. So within the week we had acceptance, and they sent us some pre-proofs to look at, and it was really exciting. I don't think I could have possibly imagine that happening at the start of my honours, that it was actually going to end up published in a journal. So a really huge moment, and something that it was really nice to share with my supervisor as well.